What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today we have a little something special in store for you. So this is an S52 Z3 or a Z3M, and we got to do a little bit of maintenance on it. So I bought this car to actually flip. It's not staying on the channel, and it has a bad valve cover gasket leak. So today I'm going to show you how to do it. Let's get into it right now. The first step is to take off this plastic little cover on top of the valve cover gasket. So there's two 10 mils here, one here, one here. Pop those little pretty little things off. Take the oil cap off. So now that little cover's off, next step is to remove the coil packs. There's two 10 mils on each coil pack all the way down. Also going to make sure to take off these little grounds, and there's even a little middle ground here as well. So all the way down, ground one, there's even a ground in the back. Just keep note of that. And then there's also little 10 mils underneath in all these little holes. And the way these disconnects work, we probably should have done this before we unbolted it. Slide this little metal clip up. Metal clip goes up, and then the black will come right out like that. And then coil pack should slide right off the spark plug. So this little ground strap right here, there's actually an 8mm nut on top of the 10mm nut, and that's what holds on this little orange ground. So there's also one more little 8mm on this front ground strap as well underneath. So that's the ground strap. We got to make sure to put this back. While Matthew's taking off the rest of those nuts, I'm going to go ahead and disconnect this little CCV hose right here. The way this little hose works, you simply just pinch on each side, kind of carefully wiggle it out without breaking it. So the final step to get the valve cover off are these little 10 mils that kind of work their way around the edge, and there are even some in the back. We're going to make sure not to miss any, and even down here, down in there. We might even get a little extension with maybe a bit of a wobble socket if we need to on some of those harder to reach ones. So this process is pretty much the same over a lot of BMWs, especially the E36s and the Z3s. Alright, the valve cover's off. So this is the gasket, and what I want to look for is if it's still like kind of soft and malleable. If they're usually pretty hard, that means there's usually some leaks. Most of the time it's in the back of the engine. It's not the worst. So valve cover is completely off. Now we kind of inspect, and you can see maybe a little bit of oil kind of on the edges. The valve cover gasket, the gasket wasn't completely hard, which is good. I've definitely had some that I can literally break with my hand. They're supposed to be rubber, they're supposed to be soft. So now what we're going to do is go take a microfiber towel and kind of clean this mating surface off all the way around, along with these tube seals kind of in the middle. You kind of want to go around each little cylinder and kind of wipe them off, clean it off, and get it ready for the new gasket. So the new gasket, I want to make sure I kind of lube it up to make sure it expands. What is it? I have no clue why we lube these up with oil before, but we're going to go ahead and do it because that's what I see other people do on the internet. All right, got it lubed up, I think, so it won't dry out. So we're going to go ahead and put the valve cover gasket in on this table just to kind of get it all seated in there properly. Don't forget, we're going to do the tube seals as well. We took the old ones out, so we got to put the new ones in. Tube seals, plop the new ones in, fresh rubber.
Happy for you, really I am.
No. Okay. One tricky thing is that this back part, these little lobes do like to kind of pop out. So make sure those are pressed in because that will be the back of the engine. A little bit harder to get to. One last step before we put it in, I do want to go ahead and clean up these mating surfaces just a bit because we got all that oil on there. But the mating surface you want to keep clean. The new gasket's in, the valve cover's put back on. We're going to go ahead and start with those bolts, kind of in the reverse process of how we took it off. We're going to start with the outside bolts first, and then those few that are sitting in the inside. We're going to start with those outside ones that kind of run along the edges, make sure everything is seated in. And we're going to go ahead and do the few that are in the center. And again, we can't forget these little grounds. There's one ground here, one ground strap in the front, and then one in the back. This kit did come with the little rubber grommets, so we're going to go and replace those as well. There's also little metal washers that come on it from the factory. Usually the kits don't send you those, so we need to make sure we put all those back from when we took them off. So Matthew just had a great observation. This valve cover's been off before. There weren't many of those metal washers on it whenever we took off the cover. So maybe that's kind of why it was leaking, because the cover wasn't in that bad of a shape. But luckily, I have a few here in my kind of bolt bin, I'll go ahead and pick a few washers out. That way we can get them back on those grommets and get it sealed down properly. Because if there's no metal washers on there, it might be holding like the bolt nut too kind of pinpointed and it's not spreading out the force evenly. Alrighty guys, that is going to wrap up this install. The valve cover gasket job is complete. If this video helped you out at all, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and drop a comment down below. Also subscribe, we got a lot more videos coming for the channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll catch you guys next video.
That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? That's a bet, right? That's a deal, right? That's a deal, right? Hey, coming down like precipitation.